What's going on, everybody? Good late evening, and it is Wednesday, so I owe you guys another mock draft. We're going to be doing mock draft 7.0 here. You guys know the drill. I'm not really doing trades yet. Trades introduce a whole nother layer of complication that I'm not really getting into right now, even though I do think that the Seahawks are going to do some trading with their picks this offseason one way or the other, and I would like to get to some mocks with some trades, but that's going to be coming up very soon here. So, mock draft 7.0, again, my goal is to really mix it up with these mocks, try to do different things, try to come at things from different angles, try to pursue things that maybe some people aren't necessarily thinking about right now, and understanding that we don't have a lot of picks to work with here, but we do have a lot of money. So, any holes that we have can be addressed in free agency, and I'm expecting a lot of the holes that we have, a lot of our needs to be addressed in free agency. So you're going to look at these drafts and be like, well, what about this? Remember, we got money to spend. All right, everybody, before we go any further into this video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about the Sleeper app and some new functionality they've recently rolled out, Team Picks. With Team Picks, you can pick winners in all kinds of sporting events. Right now, we have NBA basketball, college basketball, NHL hockey is going on, baseball's going to start in a little more than a month, and of course, you have futures in the NFL, even though the games in the NFL are over. Right now, if you look to my left here, you can actually see you can bet on next year's Super Bowl winner. They've got the Seahawks leading the way in those odds, by the way, at 12%. How does that make you feel as a Seahawks fan? But you can bet on MVP, you can bet on draft picks, you can bet on player destinations, all kinds of fun stuff, even though the season is over. So that is Team Picks over on Sleeper. A lot of fun stuff you can do. Okay, so first round pick, and this is a little bit unconventional, but I do think the value is there. It's Caden McDonald, the nose tackle from Ohio State. 32nd overall pick. This pick would basically it would take care of that nose tackle issue that we've talked about before, where it feels like the Seahawks don't have a true nose tackle. The closest thing they have to a nose tackle on their roster right now, in my estimation, is Jarran Reed, and hopefully Jarran Reed has one more year left. But I think that one thing you've noticed watching these Seahawks in the last year or so is they're really, really good against the run, except when they play the Rams, because the Rams are built to attack the way the Seahawks run defense is constructed. They run it up A gap and B gap. They have the biggest, heaviest, baddest offensive line interior in football. And Caden McDonald would be the counter to that. You get Caden McDonald in there on some of those rundowns. I don't think the Rams are having nearly as much success. So obviously, it's not really attacking at need. You're kind of stacking a lot of really, really good players on top of each other in the interior defensive line, which normally I would not advocate for in this instance because there is a diminishing return eventually. But in this instance, I look at this and I think to myself, Leonard Williams, he is starting to get older. I do want to reduce the load on him, and probably same for Jarran Reed as well. So you've got Byron Murphy, who's poised to take over the league, and whatever Riley Mills is going to be, and that's going to be great. But getting a true nose tackle in there to take on teams like the Rams specifically that like to ram it up the middle, Caden McDonald would do a lot to take that away from them. So I think that would be a good pick. And even if you're coming away with a guy who won't necessarily help the team radically immediately in the first round of this draft, you're still not doing that badly because, again, it's not a great draft. So that's Caden McDonald, nose tackle. That's my first round pick. Second round pick, this is going to be one that I've had before in a mock, which we haven't done yet, but Gabe Yakas, the edge out of Illinois. So this guy's really moving up the draft boards lately. I really like him. I think he could be a great future replacement for DeMarcus Lawrence. He's got good size, but he's also a good enough athlete to play standing up. I do think he's going to be a stand-up edge in the NFL. He's somebody who should be able to hold up against the run. He's somebody who should be able to stay out there on early downs as well as late downs. I don't think he's going to be amazing in any one area, but I think he's going to be somebody you can reliably leave out there for all three downs, and you're going to get good things out of him. So I really like the idea of Gabe Yakas as a long-term replacement for Lawrence, and he can help you his rookie year a little bit as well. He is the kind of guy who's going to be able to go out there and hold up on rundowns and allow whoever it is that you have behind him to focus on just rushing the passer. So Gabe Yakas is my second round pick. And my third round pick is going to be Julian Neal, cornerback from Arkansas. Did not have a great senior bowl. That's kind of one caveat here. But he is otherwise, he's a lot like Brandon Cisse. The difference is you can get Julian Neal in the third round, whereas you're getting Cisse in the third round, in the first round. Julian Neal, big guy. He's like 6'2". He's got great length. He's going to be able to make plays on balls that a lot of people can't because he's so long. He's going to be a great run defender. He's going to be great in run support, which is something that's going to be important for this defense if they want to live in nickel the way they do. And there is great upper level potential here. His zone instincts are not there yet, though. That's going to be the main thing with Julian Neal as we move through his development. He does need to refine his zone instincts. I think he's probably a little bit better at man coverage right now than zone, but that is something that can improve. And just in general, I think that his movement skills are good, but there are some limiting factors there that he's going to need to work on, kind of like what we said with Eman Wari. And we saw with Eman Wari, he got to a good place very quickly. Sometimes these guys don't develop that quickly, so it wouldn't shock me if Julian Neal ends up being somebody that takes a year or so to get to where we want him to be. But we have the luxury of a developmental pick here with Julian Neal. It is the third round of a pretty bad draft anyway. And like I've said before, this team probably already knows they're going to have to go at it a little bit in free agency to replace some of their corners that they're losing. All right, so that's my top three. McDonald, Yakas, Neal. That is pretty much the vast majority of what we can expect to get out of this mock. And I think we're doing pretty well there. I do have a sixth round pick of Chase Roberts, wide receiver from BYU. Big guy, big, good route runner as well. Should provide depth on the back end. I'm assuming we lose somebody like a Derek Young. Maybe we lose Jake Bobo. Who knows what's going on there? We really might cycle things on the back end of the receiver depth chart. And I think Chase Roberts brings some interesting things to the table. We are looking like we might be a little bit thin at receiver in 2026. So adding a guy like Roberts who can make some plays, jump ball stuff, I think that's useful. I think that's valuable. He's not super slow either. I think he's going to be like a 4.5 something guy, decent. A good blocker as well, which is very important in this offense. But that is it for my 2026 mock draft 7.0. Definitely one of my more unconventional ones, but I do like the value. I know that people are not going to fall in love with the idea of a nose tackle in the first round because it's a nose tackle. And I do want to say this, the Seahawks have done a great job of having a phenomenal run defense without really having a true nose tackle. So it's not like they necessarily need it, but I think there are matchups for when they need it. And unfortunately, one of those matchups is in the division, which poses a big problem. And I think McDonald is going to be more than just a run stuffer as well. I do think he's a disruptive player. All right. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And we'll do another mock next week. But again, I'm still kind of in the phase where I'm just trying to explore the space and ultimately figure out what I really like and what I really don't like. And in the process of doing that, I'm going to put together some mocks that even I kind of am not in love with. But now is the time to explore the space. All right. Might stream tonight, might not. See you guys later. Go Hawks, and have a good day.